Sometimes the most devastating betrayals are revealed in the most innocent moments. My name is Christopher, and this is the story of how a simple family photo posted on social media exposed my wife's affair and led me to orchestrate the most methodical revenge I could imagine. Elena and I had been married for 11 years when my world came crashing down. We met in our late 20s through mutual friends, and our relationship had always been built on shared interests and genuine affection. Elena was creative and outgoing, working as a freelance graphic designer, while I had built a steady career in project management. We complemented each other well. She brought spontaneity and artistic flair to my more structured approach to life. Our marriage had weathered the usual challenges that come with building a life together. We had bought a house, navigated career changes, and supported each other through family difficulties. Elena's work often required her to travel to meet clients or attend design conferences, and I had always been supportive of her professional ambitions. I trusted her completely and never questioned her need for independence and creative fulfillment. But trust, I learned, can be a dangerous thing when it's misplaced. The discovery came on a Sunday afternoon in November. Elena had just returned from what she said was a weekend design retreat in the mountains, about 3 hours from our city. She seemed relaxed and happy, telling me about the workshops she'd attended and the other designers she'd met. She showed me some sketches she'd worked on and talked about new techniques she'd learned. That evening, while Elena was in the shower, I was scrolling through social media on my phone when I saw a post from her friend Jessica, another graphic designer who often attended the same professional events as Elena. Jessica had posted a group photo from what she called an amazing weekend retreat in the mountains with the caption, "So grateful for this incredible group of creative women." I looked at the photo more closely, expecting to see Elena among the group of smiling women. But she wasn't there. At first, I thought maybe Elena had left early or hadn't been included in this particular photo. But as I looked at Jessica's other posts from the weekend, I saw multiple photos from different activities, workshops, meals, evening social events, and Elena wasn't in any of them. I felt a cold knot forming in my stomach. Elena had told me she was attending this specific retreat, had even mentioned Jessica would be there, but clearly she hadn't been at the event at all. So where had she spent the weekend? I could have asked Elena directly when she came out of the shower, but something told me to investigate further before confronting her. Maybe there was an innocent explanation. Perhaps she had attended a different retreat, or maybe she had gotten sick and come home early without wanting to worry me. But deep down, I knew something was wrong. Over the next few days, I began paying closer attention to Elena's behavior and her stories about her work activities. I started noticing small inconsistencies, details about events that didn't quite match up, people she claimed to have met who didn't seem to exist on social media, conferences that didn't appear to have actually happened. Elena had always been somewhat disorganized about her schedule, often booking clients and events at the last minute. So I had never questioned the frequent changes and updates to her plans. But now I began to wonder if that disorganization was actually a cover for something else. The breakthrough came when I decided to do some detective work on Elena's social media activity. I created a fake account and began following some of the people Elena claimed to work with regularly. What I discovered was troubling. Many of the client meetings and design conferences Elena had told me about didn't seem to exist. The people she claimed to be collaborating with had no record of working with her. The events she said she was attending weren't mentioned anywhere on the social media accounts of other attendees. Elena had been lying to me about her professional activities for months, possibly longer. But if she wasn't attending these work events, where was she going? I decided to hire a private investigator, a man named Robert who specialized in surveillance and infidelity cases. I felt guilty about spying on my wife, but I needed to know the truth about what Elena was doing during all these mysterious trips and meetings. Within 2 weeks, Robert had uncovered the devastating reality. Elena was having an affair with a man named Michael Torres, a photographer she had met at a legitimate design conference about a year earlier. Michael lived in a city about 2 hours away, and Elena had been visiting him regularly under the guise of work trips and professional events. But this wasn't just a casual affair. Robert's investigation revealed that Elena and Michael had been together for over 10 months, and their relationship was serious and ongoing. They had taken romantic trips together, spent entire weekends at his apartment, and were even discussing the possibility of Elena moving to his city permanently. The most devastating discovery was that Elena had been documenting their relationship extensively on a private social media account that I had never known existed. Under a fake name, she had been posting photos of herself with Michael, sharing intimate details about their relationship, and even writing about her plans to leave me. In one post, she had written, "I never knew love could feel like this. Christopher is a good man, but he's not the man I'm meant to be with. Michael understands my artistic soul in a way that Christopher never could. I know I need to end my marriage, but I'm scared of hurting Christopher. He doesn't deserve this, but I can't keep living a lie." Reading those words felt like being stabbed in the heart. Elena knew she was betraying me, knew I didn't deserve it, but she was doing it anyway. She was planning to destroy our marriage while pretending to love and support me. But what made it even worse was the timeline. Elena had started her affair just 2 months after we had been trying to start a family. We had been talking about having children, had even started making plans for the future, and during that same period, she had been falling in love with another man. I was devastated, but I was also furious. Elena wanted to have the security and stability of our marriage while pursuing an exciting affair, and then she wanted to leave me when it was convenient for her, probably after she had secured her relationship with Michael. I decided that Elena was going to learn that actions have consequences, and that betraying someone who had loved and trusted her completely came with a very high price. The plan I developed was comprehensive and would unfold over several months. I wanted Elena to lose not just our marriage, but everything else she valued: her relationship with Michael, her professional reputation, her financial security, and her standing in our community. Phase 1 involved Michael's existing relationships. Through Robert's investigation, I learned that Michael was not the single, available man Elena thought he was. He was actually in a long-term relationship with a woman named Sarah, who lived in his city and believed they were exclusive. Michael had been lying to both Elena and Sarah, maintaining relationships with both women by telling each of them what they wanted to hear. Elena thought she was his only serious relationship, while Sarah believed Michael was faithful to her. I arranged for Sarah to discover the truth about Michael's affair with Elena. I sent her anonymous messages with photographs and evidence of Michael's relationship with my wife, making sure she understood that Michael had been deceiving her for months. Sarah's reaction was swift and devastating. She confronted Michael, ended their relationship, and began telling everyone in their social and professional circles about his deception. Michael's reputation as a trustworthy professional was severely damaged, and several of his photography clients canceled their contracts with him. But more importantly for my purposes, Sarah also contacted Elena directly. She called my wife and told her exactly what kind of man Michael really was: someone who was willing to lie to multiple women simultaneously and who had been using Elena just as much as he had been using Sarah. Phase 2 involved Elena's professional network. Elena's career as a freelance graphic designer depended heavily on her reputation and her relationships with other professionals in the industry. She had built her business on trust, creativity, and reliability. Through Robert's investigation, I had discovered that Elena had been using our joint credit card to fund her trips to see Michael, claiming them as business expenses for tax purposes. She had also been lying to several of her actual clients about her availability, canceling legitimate work commitments to spend time with Michael. I compiled evidence of Elena's financial improprieties and her unprofessional behavior, and I began sharing this information with key people in her professional network. I contacted the clients she had canceled on, the professional organizations she belonged to, and the conference organizers whose events she had claimed to attend while actually visiting Michael. The response was swift and damaging. Several clients terminated their contracts with Elena, citing concerns about her reliability and honesty. Professional organizations began questioning her membership and her claims about her activities. Conference organizers blacklisted her from future events. Elena's reputation in the graphic design community was severely damaged, and her income dropped significantly as clients and opportunities disappeared. Phase 3 was more personal and psychological. I wanted Elena to experience the same doubt and betrayal that she had put me through. I began creating situations that would make her question Michael's commitment to her and doubt the future they had been planning together. Using information from Robert's investigation, I arranged for Michael to receive attention from other women, attractive, creative women who would appeal to his interests and make Elena jealous and insecure. I had actresses approach Michael at photography events, pretending to be potential clients who were also interested in him personally. I also created fake social media profiles that would interact with Michael in ways that would make Elena suspicious. These profiles belonged to fictional women who shared Michael's interests and who would comment on his posts and photos in flirtatious ways. The psychological warfare was effective. Elena became increasingly paranoid about Michael's faithfulness to her, demanding more of his time and attention, becoming jealous of other women in his life. Their perfect affair became complicated and stressful, filled with the same kind of doubt and insecurity that Elena had created in our marriage. Phase 4 involved Elena's family and friends. Elena was very close to her parents and her sister, and she valued their opinion and support more than almost anything else. She had always been the responsible daughter, the one who had made good choices and built a stable, successful life. I began subtly sharing my concerns about Elena's behavior with her family, always framing it as worry for her well-being rather than accusations of infidelity. I mentioned that she seemed stressed and distant, that she was working unusual hours and traveling more frequently than usual. I also made sure that Elena's closest friends began to notice inconsistencies in her stories about her work and her activities. I arranged for them to see social media posts that contradicted Elena's claims about where she had been and what she had been doing. Elena found herself increasingly isolated as people who had once trusted her began to question her honesty and reliability. Phase 5 was the most devastating. I wanted Elena to lose Michael at the moment when she needed him most, and I wanted her betrayal to be exposed to everyone who mattered to her simultaneously. I coordinated the timing so that Elena would discover Michael's deception about Sarah at the same time that her professional misconduct became public knowledge. I also arranged for Elena's family to learn about her affair on the same day that she would face the consequences of her lies and financial improprieties. The confrontation happened on a Friday in March, exactly 4 months after I had first noticed Elena's absence from Jessica's social media photos. Michael's relationship with Sarah became public knowledge when Sarah posted about his deception on social media, tagging Elena and exposing their affair to Michael's entire professional network. At the same time, Elena's professional misconduct became public when several clients and professional organizations released statements about her unreliability and dishonesty. Her reputation in the graphic design community was destroyed overnight. Elena's family learned about her affair when I finally told them the truth, providing them with evidence of her deception and betrayal. Her parents were devastated, and her sister was furious that Elena had been lying to everyone who cared about her. But the worst blow came when Michael, facing the complete destruction of his own reputation and the loss of his relationship with Sarah, decided to end his relationship with Elena. The affair that had seemed so exciting and fulfilling when it was secret became a liability when it was exposed. Michael chose to try to salvage what he could of his professional reputation and his other relationships, and that meant cutting ties with Elena completely. He told her that their relationship had been a mistake and that he couldn't continue seeing her. Elena came home that evening to find me sitting in our living room with divorce papers and a complete accounting of her affair. She had lost her lover, her professional reputation, her family's respect, and now she was about to lose our marriage and the financial security that came with it. "Christopher," she said, her voice shaking as she realized the extent of what had happened. "We need to talk." "No," I said calmly. "We don't. You made your choice when you decided to have an affair instead of working on our marriage or asking for a divorce. You made your choice when you decided to lie to me for 10 months while planning to leave me for another man." Elena tried to explain, to minimize her actions, to ask for forgiveness and another chance. She claimed that her affair with Michael had been a mistake, that she had never meant for it to go so far, that she still loved me and wanted to save our marriage. But I had seen too much evidence of her deception, had read her own words about her plans to leave me, to be swayed by her manipulation. "You wrote on social media that you knew I didn't deserve this betrayal," I told her. "You were right. I didn't deserve to be lied to for 10 months. I didn't deserve to have you use our joint credit card to fund your affair. I didn't deserve to be planning a future with someone who was already planning to leave me for another man." The divorce proceedings were swift and comprehensive. The evidence of Elena's affair and her misuse of our joint finances ensured that she received far less than she might have expected. The prenuptial agreement we had signed, which Elena had once dismissed as unnecessary, protected most of my assets from her claims. Elena's reputation in our community was destroyed. Word of her affair and her professional misconduct spread quickly through our social circle, and she found herself ostracized by people who had once considered her a friend. Her career as a freelance graphic designer was effectively over, and she was forced to start over in a new field with a damaged reputation. Michael fared even worse. His photography business never recovered from the loss of clients and the damage to his professional reputation. The affair that had seemed so exciting and fulfilling had cost him his relationship with Sarah, his professional standing, and his financial stability. Most importantly, Elena and Michael never got back together. The doubt and suspicion I had planted in their relationship, combined with the very real consequences they both faced, had poisoned their connection beyond repair. They had destroyed their existing relationships for each other, but they ended up with nothing. As for me, I rebuilt my life from the ground up. I kept our house, which Elena could no longer afford to maintain, and I focused on my career and my personal interests. The betrayal had been devastating, but it had also freed me from a relationship that had been built on lies and deception. I eventually started dating again, and I met a woman named Amanda who had also been through a difficult divorce. Amanda and I built our relationship slowly, based on complete honesty and transparency. We both understood the value of trust because we had both experienced the devastation of betrayal. We took our time getting to know each other, and we made sure that our relationship was built on a solid foundation of mutual respect and genuine affection. Amanda was nothing like Elena. She was straightforward, honest, and completely committed to building something real and lasting. People sometimes ask me if I regret the way I handled Elena's affair. They wonder if I should have tried to save our marriage, if I should have been more forgiving, if my revenge was too calculated and comprehensive. But they don't understand what it's like to discover that the person you trust most in the world has been systematically betraying you for months. They don't know what it feels like to read your spouse's own words about how they're planning to leave you for someone else while pretending to love you. Elena made her choice when she decided to have an affair instead of addressing problems in our marriage or asking for a divorce. She made her choice when she decided to lie to me every day for 10 months while planning to leave me for another man. She made her choice when she used our joint credit card to fund her affair and lied about her professional activities to cover her tracks. I simply made sure she faced the full consequences of those choices. The woman who had wanted to have her cake and eat it too learned what it felt like to lose everything. The woman who had been willing to destroy our marriage for the excitement of an affair discovered what happened when that affair was exposed to the light of day. Elena got exactly what she deserved, and I got the opportunity to build a new life based on honesty, trust, and the knowledge that I deserved better than someone who would betray me for months and then lie about it. Today, Amanda and I have been together for 3 years, and we're planning to get married next summer. We've built a relationship that's based on complete transparency and mutual respect. We both understand the value of loyalty because we've both experienced the devastation of betrayal. The best revenge isn't a dish served cold. It's a life lived well with someone who values the same things you do, and the knowledge that you stood up for yourself when it mattered most. Elena wanted to trade our marriage for an exciting affair with a man who turned out to be just as dishonest and unreliable as she was. Instead, she lost everything and learned that actions have consequences. That's a lesson that has served her well in whatever life she's built for herself now. And it's a lesson that has served me well as I've built a new life based on honesty, trust, and the knowledge that I deserve a partner who will honor the commitment we make to each other. The affair that was supposed to give Elena everything she wanted ended up costing her everything she had. And the marriage she was so eager to leave behind taught her the value of what she had thrown away. Sometimes the best revenge is simply letting someone discover that the grass isn't always greener on the other side, especially when they've burned the bridge back to where they started. Elena learned that lesson the hard way, and I learned that I was stronger than I ever imagined possible.